Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, anytime in the summer. It's just fun to do these. So I thought I would do a little bit of playing with airbrushing today. So in your coffee shop, I had a couple of requests last week to separate the supply list from the royal icing transfer templates. I had originally put them together for you guys so that you wouldn't have to do 2 downloads. So the way I fixed that, if you want just the supply list, it's in my coffee shop. Let me flip that up really quick. It's in the coffee shop, and there's a free download of just the supply list. So this, if you go here, you can get just, oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, yay. That was so strange, wasn't it? So it's on the list this week 2 ways. So if you want just the supply list, it's totally free, or there's a donation thing there. If you do want to donate, you have that ability. So you can go there. Or I put the supply list and my 3 royal icing transfer templates together. So I think I solved that issue. That way, if you don't want to do 2 downloads, you don't have to, and you can still get the supply list for free today, okay? So I thought we'd just do a couple of cookies to get you thinking about 4th of July, since it's going to be here before you know it. These things just keep popping up on us so fast. So on your supply list today, I've got the royal icing colors plus the airbrush colors, and then I've linked you some stencils. So I linked you just a basic stripe stencil because it's more, today I just want you to think outside the box, and it's more about getting a little artsy with your cookies, I guess. I don't want this to specifically look like the exact American flag. So I've got this cool stencil here with assorted stars. That's on there for you. This one is not linked on your list. I just want to talk you through how to do this if you really want to make a mini American flag. There is a stencil that's got the stars and the stripes together. I have no idea where this came from. I've had it a really long time, but I just want to talk you through how you would accomplish that. This was so easy though, you guys. I had this entire set of cookies. I just flooded them all, outline and flood, all in white icing. So it went super fast. Like I have a huge stack, and I just want to show you how fast airbrushing could be. If you want to make a lot of these, it'll be a little bit more profitable for you. So if you do want to do this particular one more like a flag, I'm going to talk you through that one. We're not actually going to do that today, but you would need a blocker. So you would just block this part off, and then you could spray your blue, your royal blue airbrush color here. And then you could use like the whipped white or the bright white, or Mar, don't you use the Wilton white to do airbrushing with? And you like that?
I do.
So that's a really nice one too, because you're going to want it to show up. So you would do this in 2 layers, right? You could still base ice your cookie in white. Then you'd put a stencil blocker up, spray in blue, let that dry. And then you would come back with this stencil and you could spray your stars with the white. And then, so that's how you would work if you want to break down a larger stencil like this to use on a smaller cookie. But what we're going to do today is just have some fun with stars and stripes all together. And I made plenty of cookies. So if in the process of doing this, you want me to switch over to another cookie with a certain color, just let me know and I'll do that for you. And this is my stencil holder, Mar. This one came from AliExpress. I really like it
too.
I like it. It's so handy. And the magnets is that the same one?
It is the same one. This, the price difference on this compared to the one that's like kind of, I mean, I think this was $4.
Yeah, I feel like mine was very inexpensive. Yes. Yeah, I really and I like it. The magnets are really good strength in it too.
Just so you guys see though, like if you look at my little picture, you can see there's like, and that size difference, sometimes it does matter depending on the size of your cookie, you know?
Right. You know, I usually use that adjustable one that you told me about from Stencibel. Is that right?
That's from Sweet Sugar Bell.
Sweet Sugar Bell. Yeah, that's the one I normally use, is that one. But this just came in recently, so I'm going to give this a try today. And so I think, guys, the main thing on here you need to be careful with when you're doing stencils, right, is that you want to make sure that the pressure from your air gun doesn't blow these little stripes around, right? Because we want a nice clean line. So I'm just going to start with red today, if that's okay with you guys. Does that sound good?
Have you tried with the mesh? Dog?
I ordered a roll of the silk screen, and
Okay.
I'm just going to cut it and add it to my existing stencils. So yeah, I am going to be trying it, but I have not yet.
Okay.
I did want to ask you today, though, since you brought that up, they seem to have varieties. And look, Mar, just so that you know, this is real airbrush color. So you remember when I had my little airbrush issue, you guys?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I actually grabbed one of the small containers and put gel in, and that's why it wouldn't spray that day. Do you remember? And I just kept going when I was doing my bee cookies. But that's what
the bottles are exactly the same.
I'm sorry. Yes, except for the lids. And I just grabbed something and I wasn't paying attention, but I had never done that before. So I was kind of freaking out. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just put stripes on my whole cookie. And because the weight of the stencil frame is holding it down, can you see I'm just doing a light buildup? I'm not actually needing to hold any of these stripes. But again, we talk about this a lot. I kind of feel like that's because I'm using this cordless airbrush gun. And it doesn't, I don't feel like this moves as much as a stationary. It doesn't have as much pressure. Is that the right word, Mar?
Exactly. The compressor is not as powerful, but it's a cookie. You don't need like this super industrial thing, you know?
So I'm just here building up in light layers to get some stripes. And then I'm going to lift straight up. And hopefully I'm not going to have a lot of underspray. So look, that's beautiful. We got nice crisp lines. So it's so pretty, right?
Kind of looks like a whale.
Not too shabby that I got no underspray on this, but I was concerned. So I'm going to show you on another cookie. I'm going to put this right back down. Now, also, it appears that it is sitting really nicely on this as well because the weight of the frame's pulling it down. But if it had not, or my cookie was bumpy or something like that, I would just be using my scribe to gently, and probably this end so it's not pointy, I would be using this to hold it in place. The other thing I'm not doing is I'm not shooting air in this direction, which would make them ripple. I'm going, working from left to right. So depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed, you'll want to adjust that too. And I'm probably 6 inches back from my cookie, and I'm just building up in light layers. Mark, can you give them some tips about bagging cookies with airbrush color and maybe tell them about the not freezing them? I'm pretty sure that's one of the things.
Yeah, so when you freeze a cookie or anything, actually, when you take it out of the freezer, there's condensation, moisture that forms on the surface. Airbrush and water do not go well together. If an airbrush surface gets wet, it just gets basically ruined. And so you don't want to thaw out an airbrush cookie. You can freeze them and airbrush them. I mean, it doesn't take long if you know what you're doing. And so you can kind of airbrush them in the morning and let them make sure they're dry and then airbrush them and then bag them.
So they could even pre-make this, flood with white, freeze it. Exactly. And then the airbrushing, because it goes so fast, they could pull them out, thaw them, and then do the airbrushing, right?
Yeah.
And that would be okay?
Yes. And you can do a very light dusting with a puffy brush of cornstarch on them. Like when they're dry, you don't want to do that on wet airbrush. When they're dry, a light dusting of the cornstarch, and that seems to help when it comes to like a moisture transfer to the bag. So those two little kind of things there, like if you're wanting to make them in advance, that could be helpful.
Okay, and let me show you another quick trick if you're airbrushing. Do you see both of these are the same cutter? But on my right-hand side, is that showing up on the right side of the screen for you, Mark?
Yeah.
This one? Okay, so this cookie, I ice the top of the cookie. So, sometimes people tell me they have trouble, they get rounding. I don't get too much of that, as you can see here. But if that's a problem you have and it creates a hump and then it makes it difficult for you to airbrush, if you flip the cookie over and ice the bottom, if you prep for that, knowing you might have that issue, it makes it go so fast. Now, clearly, if you know you're going to flip your cookie and ice it and you want to do the United States, you have to bake it, right? You have to bake it the opposite direction so that you can then flip it. So you have to take those things into account. But if you're new to airbrushing, and we've been trying to get everybody to experiment with it, then that's also a helpful tip. So we're going to do one more of these, and I have to work in a little diamond dust today. So we're going to hit this with some stripes, but I don't want it to be too perfectly lined up with the shape of the star. Hey, and Mar, guess what? I have 3 airbrushes here, so I don't have to stop. Isn't that amazing?
Awesome.
So your tips and tricks come in so handy. I don't have 7. I can't do the rainbow, but I've got 3 rolling.
Well, that's already a great start. So Debbie's asking, as you made a big order from AliExpress, she's talking about freight from Wish. Did you pay freight with that?
Well, my AliExpress things, I didn't have any, but for this, I bought so much I had no freight. Like a lot of those shops on AliExpress, you either have to get to a certain quantity or a certain dollar amount before you get the free freight. And I don't order on Wish too much anymore because most of the stuff that I really like is on AliExpress. But Wish is the same way. There's usually coupons or you order up to a certain amount. And let me show you something on here because it's a star. It should be sparkly. So we're going to just build up another layer of this color because we're going to be done using the star stencil after this. And I did test this, you guys. I was able to do 12 cookies before I felt like I need 12 cookies with glitter before I felt like I needed to change out and go clean the stencil, okay? Now, I'm spraying red glitter on here. That's not on your supply list. I just want to show you on one half of the cookie with the Christmas red, and the other half of the cookie, I'm going to show you what gold looks like on top of the red because it's just so pretty, right? It also looks super nice with white and silver diamond dust. But look how it fades in and you get that nice sparkle.
That might be a Christmas project. June wants to know why you're going up and down versus side to side with your stripes.
Up and down? What do you mean?
I guess she's saying like you're not following the stripe.
Oh, because I'm keeping my airflow moving in a certain direction so I don't waffle my stripes.
Okay.
And that's keeping me from having to hold them down. That's just what's working for me. I mean, I'm sure there's a billion ways to do this and combinations. But what I found when I was testing, this is a very, I don't know the millimeters on stencil material, but can you guys tell how thin this one is?
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably actually a crafting stencil, not a cookie stencil. Well, no, it is not. It's a cookie stencil, but it's just super thin compared to the other ones I'm used to using.
Mm-hmm.
So these thinner ones, when they're not joined, when there's no bridge and the bridge connects small areas, when there's not a bridge, they just tend to blow around more. Now, today my cookies are nice and tall, so the weight of the stencil frame is holding it down, but it isn't always that way.
And those are tough to use if you want to stencil with icing.
The thin ones or these thicker ones?
Well, this long section without a bridge, like that long stripe, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'd try that with the stripes, though. That one in particular, of all my stripe ones, that one moves around so much. All right, so how about we switch over and we do a little bit of the blue and we'll do some stars and I'll show you both of the colors on that as well. I do have some Tinker Dust here today. I think I told you guys recently, I just got that in. So I'm testing several colors of that out. Okay, so here we go. This is so nice, especially if you're new to airbrushing. Oh, look, did you see what I just did?
No, awesome.
Just that fast, I sprayed myself everywhere. All right, hold on just a sec. Well, that's not going to come off. So I'm going to have Smurf hands, Mar. So let's go here.
Something that happens.
That's right. New airbrush, getting used to the pressure. Did you see how fast that color went down?
Well, also, sometimes you're using it and the battery's going down and it's kind of like blowing not as hard. And then you charge it up and then you're like, ooh.
I know, I got a lift in that. Now I'm going to set this back down because I do want to show you, you know what, let's just do another cookie because I did so many of them. I think this would be more fun. So let's hit this with a little color and I'm going to do the blue again. And I'm just kind of shielding my other cookies since this one has so much force. It's new. This gun is new, so I haven't played with it that much. So here we go. Here's some soft blue.
What's your glitter brand again that you like?
The airbrush.
Carol is asking about your glitter.
Oh, I'm trying out. I love sugar art. I love all the colors. I think I now own all the colors. The sugar art, the diamond dust sugar art. But I'm testing out this new one. I got these in to test for 4th of July and Christmas. So I also got a green one. So I'm just trying to show you what those look like. So on one side, I did the blue on top of blue. And now let me show you what the yellow on top of that blue looks like. If I were going to do a lot of these, see, and I did have a run because the pressure was too much on my gun. So if I had had the silk screening, it would have held it in place and that would have been better on this one. But you can see the gold on top of the blue versus blue on top of blue. So over here I have shimmer, but it's the same. It's tone on tone. And over here I have the gold. In person, it has that gasoline effect to it. So it's really pretty.
So if I can give another tip to the beginners on airbrush. So if you get an airbrush, start on paper. Pull out just some photocopy paper or copy paper and practice on the paper. Once you feel comfortable and that you've got it a little bit under control, then you move to your cookies. And so that you're more acclimated with the process.
And we're going to do just a little bit of striping. I'm not going to be using the stars. And I am going to switch back to my red coloring. Which gun is that in? See, this is why I need color-coded guns, Mar.
Well, yeah, the guns, are they all different colors, your guns?
I have a hot pink, a light pink, and a black.
So it is helpful if you can kind of make mental notes, but I barely can remember my own name. So yeah,
Well, how about we turn it this way this time?
You know what I'm imagining is a fade from blue to red.
Ooh, let's try that. Except this blue is so strong, it could go everywhere. So don't panic if it does. It might, really. Let me see. All right. Here we go. Ready? Airbrushing on camera live is always so much fun, you guys.
Oh, you're out of color.
I'm out of color, so that's good, right? We'll just swap over to the red. Now I'm just using my paper towel to shield. There we go. So as soon as I get the pressure adjusted on my new gun, that will work great. And I do like this with the red, white, and blue. That'll be so pretty. Also in your supply list today, I linked gold stars for you if you want to do some gold stars. And would somebody like to see like what the gold looks like on the whole cookie to see if you forget and want to do it later? Do you want to see what that looks like? Figured today would be a good day to play.
I don't know if I like it.
So you get sparkle. If I were going to do the whole cookie, I'd use the white one or the silver one because they just give the cookie a shimmer. But I would probably dust it on in my brush where you pump it in, and then it wouldn't be so much. Okay, so I'm
looking at your cookies. Just want to mention, you guys have trouble with your airbrush going on the cookies and you don't like that, make chocolate cookies and it won't show as much.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to tell you a minute ago. Probably what I would do if I had a specific set design and it wasn't just a play day for this, I would probably have airbrushed before I ever flooded. Like if I wanted to do the blonde cookies or a regular sugar cookie, I would have hit this all ahead of time, then flooded. But then, then you can't freeze. So it kind of depends on whether you're baking just for fun or whether you're baking for a large sale volume.
Your other option is to color the cookie dough.
Oh yeah. Mar, did you play with that recently for something else?
I did. And again, it's the drip color. They have this bake-in color and it was very nice, but you have to watch them so they don't brown.
I gotcha. I was experimenting with something this weekend and I put purple coloring in it and it really got way too brown. So in your templates this week, you've got this Royal Icing Transfer template to make bottle rockets. I'm going to show you that real quick. You've got this little template to make fireworks ahead of time. I'm going to show you how to pipe them right on the cookie and then show you a few I have made. And then you have a template in there with stars. So I've got 3 sizes on one for you today on that. And then, I've got a linked video to not on that one, but on the royal icing transfers I did before, I have a linked video for you. So you can go back to that and see how we build strong royal icing transfer templates. This is also linked in your supply list, an edible ink marker. This is fabulous. I love this. And I'm just going to give you a couple quick ideas with the cookies we have done. This is just a bottle rocket firecracker, right? So this is just to have some fun with your cookies. You can have all of this made ahead of time. That way you can make and flood the cookie. You can freeze it. You can, when you get closer to your date, the airbrushing is going to go fast. What would make it even faster is if you can just attach your royal icing transfers and get a really fancy cookie. So let's just say on this blue cookie, I want to put my firecracker on. I'm just attaching it with the same color icing in case it comes out from underneath. And then the fun part about these is you can quickly just use one of your edible markers. I'm doing it in black so it shows up. You could certainly do it in blue, red, whatever marker you have. And then do you know how you usually launch these? Mar, do you guys ever do fireworks?
Not really.
When you launch these particular bottle rockets, there's usually a stick that you hold for the launching, right? And then you light it up.
You hold that in your hand?
Yeah. Some of the small ones, you can hold them. I've only ever done those a couple times because I'm kind of afraid of them. The noise and everything bothers me, but I've done it a few times at the beach. So I'm just coming through here and, drawing the little tail, and I'm drawing the stick. So you can accent that however you'd like. And then I thought it would be pretty on here. You guys just start thinking about what you might want to do on these cookies for 4th of July. So I just made some stars. I did them in gold. And then I put a little bit of the 10 karat gold by Sugar Art on them. Right. And then I just thought it'd be pretty. You can add these and then you've got a fully done cookie, and you can make a whole lot of these and go really fast for the holiday. So I'm going to slide this one out of the way. Let's pull let's pull this one in. And then this is one of the firework things. I piped this one really thick. You could do it thinner. I piped it super thick because I wanted you to see that you could add enough icing that you could add candies in the center. So I'm just going to roll this off. I've also got my bags, my cello bags linked on there because I like to have the nice thin transfers. These can be made way ahead. I tested all of these colors last year for the 4th of July. These did not start to fade. That's the one thing I have trouble with on my transfers. I try not to keep them too terribly long because I find that after 6 months, the color fades a little bit. So I did test these colors though, because they're such dark colors, and these were good for over 8 months before I noticed any of that happening. So just basic striped cookie. We added some glitter. We come back and add our little firework. Then, right now, this is the Walmart collection for 4th of July. So there's lots of options in here if you want to go back and add some candy. I pulled out some little stars. And you can go back and add those on super easy as well if you want to. I'll just do one to show you what it would look like on the cookie. But, you're just creating something fun and something the kids will like. This cookie in particular looks great on a lollipop stick if you want to do some baking for that.
Oh, yeah, cute.
Right? To make them your outdoor centerpieces, since cupcakes and icing and all that is really tough around here when it's too hot in the summertime.
For the beginners, sometimes it's obvious for us, Amy, but I just want to mention, so you don't want to add your candies and all these things she's adding before you airbrush, or else your stencil's not going to lay flat.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Because I meant to mention, totally didn't even think about doing that again just now. I'm going to put a little pocket on this guy just to finish off my t-shirt. You could make this as a transfer ahead of time if you want to too. But this is a great way to just get a little bit of detail, but it's still very obvious that you're doing a red, white, and blue cookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I started playing with these a little bit more because I actually have a large wedding for the 4th of July. And so I kept the colors out beyond Memorial Day just to go ahead and start getting ready for that. And I have a really cool fairy and gnome wedding coming up. They're doing the bridal shower and then part of the wedding in that whole theme at this beautiful, enchanted garden place.
A gnome wedding.
Yes. I can't wait. We're doing all kinds of specialty little desserts for them. So there you've got that. If you want to go the extra step, make it really read 4th of July, you can drop in a little star candy on the pocket. And you can always hit it with some more glitter, but I just want to get you thinking with stencils you probably already own that you may have purchased for something else. You can make a really cute collection. I did, the majority of these with the stripes, but you can add in the stars. There's a couple of stencils out on the market right now that are big firework displays. Those would be beautiful. And to do a fade, like Mar suggested, from one color into another. But this is a way that you can do a lot of cookies ahead of time, get them frozen. That way you're ready to roll for that holiday. One of the things I thought you could come back and do here too, if you happen to have any of the gold the edible gold you can paint with, whichever brand, the toxic or non-toxic, whatever you're in. This one, when I actually photograph it, when I do these later, I'm going to go back and paint that gold with the metallic so that I just have another little layer of pop on my cookie. Again, something that could be done ahead of time. So hopefully it'll give you some ideas.
Well, those are all great cutters too. The star is very versatile. That t-shirt, I love a t-shirt cutter. I mean, you could put a Pokemon on a t-shirt, like you're using it there for your Memorial Day. It's like really versatile. And then the flag, a beach towel.
Absolutely. This looks great as a beach towel. This is really good too. What did we use this for last year? I didn't actually have this in because it was a flag cutter. I got it for something else. I think we did a raft out of this, like for the pool. We did something and had the wavy lines on it with the beach that we did last year. But all of these are great. And, I in particular like this star because it's not, most stars, when you draw it, it would be straight across, right? You can see this one almost looks like it's popping up out of the middle. So this cutter to me just like screams fireworks and things bursting and rising in the air. So that's why I like that star. But any star would work for this project.
Very nice. Well, thank you, Amy. Everybody's loving it.
Well, good.
I love your glitter.
I know. Well, this explosion, this should be blooper reel right here.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like from my side is no sound. You had your technical issues. There's always got to be something. The joys of live streaming. The joys of live streaming. What do you want?
Which we love, right? I love interacting with everybody, so it's so much fun. So, guys, Mar just mentioned Pokemon. Do any of you play Pokemon? I'm not a Pokemon person, but my sister and brother-in-law play. Apparently, there's some big thing coming out in July, some big tournament.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mentioned Pokemon because years ago I did a Pokemon on a t-shirt, and it just, it's like so many characters. The kids love so many different things. And if you have to buy a cookie cutter for each thing, and it's like their moment, they like something for a week and then they like something else. So the t-shirt's kind of one of those shapes where you can kind of like switch it out. When they're 3, they like Spider-Man. And then when they're, 10, they like maybe, I don't know, Pokemon. And then, and then in high school, you can even do like their sports team on it, Right. So it's one of those cutters.
I've done this for a corporate t-shirt too. They had me reproduce a t-shirt that had their company logo on it for their 4th of July picnic that they do, their company picnic. So it's very versatile, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So is that one of the things that you put in your supply list?
No, the t-shirt's not in there.
You guys can find it easily.
Yeah, we did it. It's linked in 2 or 3. It's either in one of yours or Amber's and Hands that it's linked in there.
Okay.
I did want to tell you too, if you guys enjoyed my sister on Sunday, Mar, did you get to tune in at all on Sunday?
I saw after the fact, but I didn't see it. Like I just saw after the fact.
It's taken me a year to get her to come on camera with me. So you guys were so great and hospitable to her. I really appreciate it. And now she wants me to do the specialty character that is getting released for that big tournament that's coming up in July. So she's sending me pictures and we'll see how I do. But she's trying to heap the stress on me, the pressure, right? Like, I'll give it to you at the last minute. Let's see how you perform.
Oh, there, Jeremy's putting your shop up for you. Thank you, Jeremy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I enjoyed your live.
I have lost everyone's comments, Mar. I can't see anybody's comments now.
I don't know if there's something wrong then, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I see
Yeah,
everything here.
I could see it when I was popping them up and down, but now they're gone. I can't see any of them.
I
So
don't know.
guys, if I missed something, I'm sorry. Just post it and I'll check on my Facebook page later.
We can see, if you're on Facebook, we can see the comments after the live is over. YouTube erases them for whatever reason. We can only interact while the live is actually happening.
Right.
So what is this about, Amy?
That's the Shiba Inu coin for the cryptocurrency.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what I made on the fly. She, a few hours ahead of time, sent me that photograph via text message to the left and said, "This is what I want you to make. Can you make this in a couple of hours?" And I was like, "Of course I can." I didn't know if I could make it or not. I don't have a stencil cutting machine here, like hooked up and ready to roll. But I think I did okay. I used what's the video, Mark? Because someone emailed me and asked me, what is the video where you recently did the tissue transfer method?
That's Amber's technique. I've never done that particular technique.
Oh, so it must have been hers, because I linked 2 videos, a stained glass window going back to Amber for them to see that in detail. And I linked the other one that I found for her on Friday, but I thought you had done something too.
I did a tutorial in the group with the Chihuahua cookie. It's in the coffee shop, and I share a new, I invented a new thing, but it's with your wafer paper. And so it's a different technique than Amber.